Welcome back to News Geelong as we continue with the action-packed world of Geelong sport with our own flying hawk Nathan Curry down in front of the jewellery showcase at Football and Netball Geelong headquarters. Good evening, Nathan.
Thanks very much, Rollo. I'm down here at the Footy Geelong headquarters, and as you can see behind me, it's the 2011 GFL Premiership Cup, and that will either go to South Barwon or Bell Park on the weekend. Now, we were lucky enough to speak to a member of each of those clubs, and first of all, we caught up with the Bell Park coach, John Fitzgerald. All right, let's talk about Jackson Sheringham. Will he get up for Sunday's match?
Yeah, Jackson's right to go. He had a couple of days off, and swelling's gone down, and he's right to go. So he's trained the last 3 sessions, trained really well, so he'll be fine.
The last time you played South Barwon, it was a bit of a physical slog. Do you think that'll be the case again, or was that just due to the rain?
No, I think it'll be a hard match. There's no doubt about that. You just don't get easy grand finals. So I think regardless of the conditions, in fact, in some ways, if it's sort of a hot, fine day, it's going to be more physically taxing than what it'll be if it's wet.
Pre-game, will you use last year's grand final loss as any sort of motivation?
No, not really. I think you try and learn out of your losses and take out of your losses in a positive sense. So you don't just sort of keep ramming it down blokes' throats. Like, they know this is our third grand final in 5 years, so our guys know the drill and know what's at stake.
Finally, what would it mean to go out with the fairy tale finish?
Look, I would just love to win it for the club and for the players and for our supporters who have been terrific, and we've worked really hard over 5 years to get to this position. So yeah, look, no doubt it'd be great for me, but ultimately it's about actually building a club that's going to be around for a lot longer than sort of bobbing up for 1 year. So yeah, it'd be great.
Thanks very much, John. Now it's time to catch up with South Barwon's football manager, Bill McCann. Was Sunday's win the type of form you want to keep going into a grand final?
Well, I think, yeah. We're very pleased with the way we played last week, except for a short period of time. We seem to play really well and get our heads in front and then ease off and bring it back to a slog. And I think we're more attuned to having a real slog all day, all game, and that's where we seem to prevail. So, yeah, tough and hard all day would suit our game plan, I would have thought.
Seeing as Bell Park have had the extra week off, now that the game's moved to the Sunday, do you think that helps your case?
Well, it can work in two different ways. Last year, obviously, it worked in our favour when we were match hardened, and I thought we ran over them in the last quarter last year. Different scenario this year with Bell Park having a series of injured players, but moving that extra day, all our guys are up. They're all fit. The rehab's been fantastic over the last 7 days, and sometimes, if you've got the extra week off after the second semi and the extra week off, you play your game in your head too many times, and when you get there, you're mentally tired. So, all depends who's the mentally tougher on the day.
South Barwon's been up the top for so long. How do you view this season compared to other ones?
Well, it's different because we keep turning over maybe 4 or 5 players each year, and the younger players that are coming in, and they have to absorb the culture of the place, and it is a huge learning curve. So we expect to have up and downs throughout the year, but they certainly live the culture of being a winning side, and the young blokes who we've brought in have certainly adapted to that.
Thanks very much for your time, Bill. Just a reminder, that match has been moved to Sunday, whereas the GFL netball finals will be out at the arena on Saturday. Also on Saturday afternoon is the preliminary final clash between the Geelong Cats and the West Coast Eagles, and News Geelong was lucky enough to catch up with their coach, Chris Scott. Now, Chris, do you find it remarkable that you and Collingwood have both lost senior coaches in the finals?
Yeah, but it tends to be the way it works. I mean, they've been involved in sides that have performed at a high level, so we can understand the competition's interest in those sort of people. Does level the playing field a little bit, I guess. It'd be nice if Scott Burns can take a rest this week as well.
How many players have indicated to you that this will be their last season aside from Cameron Mooney?
Yeah, Cameron Mooney.
Is that the only one at this stage?
Yep.
I think there was a report where the Scarlett and a few others might have thought that as well, but that's incorrect.
it may be correct, but I don't know about it.
Last night,
I doubt it.
Last night, Scarlett said he'd re-signed for another year. Is that correct?
It's a pretty good indication he's going to play next year. Yeah, he's got a contract.
As a rookie coach, have you had a chance to just sit back and think about the enormity of making it into a preliminary final in your first year?
No, not really. Hopefully, if we play as well as we can this week and then go on and play as well as we can the next week, there'll be plenty of time to sit back and reflect. But look, I'll reiterate what I've said a number of times. I'm incredibly fortunate to be in the position I'm in, having inherited such an amazing group of players and Geelong people. But it's taken a lot of hard work to get here, and it's by no means over. So we've got to make sure that we focus very much on the day-to-day, and if we get the result we're hoping for, we can sit back and feel good about ourselves. But up until then, mind's on the job.
Now finally, Chris, we spoke to Joel Selwood earlier. He was a little bit apprehensive about talking about his potential match-up with his younger brother. How do you think he'll feel about lining up on Scott Selwood on Saturday afternoon? Yeah,
I'm not sure how he'd feel. I suspect that the Selwoods are as competitive a group of players as there are in the competition, so I don't think they're going to have any issues going head-to-head. But logic suggests that Scott tends to take the best opposition on baller, and Joel's pretty close to that for us. So if it does eventuate, it'd be good to watch.
Thanks very much for your time, Chris, and good luck to you and your boys on Saturday, and we might see you again next week. That's it for me this week. I'll be back on Wednesday night, but until then, as always, it's back to you, Ruler.
Thank you, Nathan, and good luck to your beloved Hawthorn Football Club this weekend in the AFL Finals race. I feel they just might need it. Now to the Geelong and Surf Coast weather over the next 6 days with our scintillating Sophie Miller. Good evening, Sophie. How does it look like shaping up?
Good evening. Graham, a mixed week of weather ahead around Geelong and the Surf Coast as we take a look at the latest Bureau of Meteorology information. Tomorrow, starting off our weekend, Saturday will be partly cloudy with isolated showers until the afternoon and a top of 15. Sunday will be partly cloudy with areas of frost early in the morning and isolated showers possible along the Otway Ranges with a top of 19. To start off the new week, Monday will be mostly sunny with a top expected of 22. Tuesday will be partly cloudy with a chance of rain and a top of a warm 27. Wednesday will be partly cloudy with rain at times and a top of 22. While Thursday will continue with cloudy periods and isolated showers and a top of 18. Today was partly cloudy with isolated showers throughout the day and a top of 17. That's the weather outlook for this evening. Until next Wednesday, have a pleasant weekend, and it's back to you, Graham.
Thank you, Sophie. And thank you for joining us on News Geelong this Friday evening. To Caitlin Amon from Grovedale, happy birthday, Caitlin. And remember, take your time and smell the flowers. From all the team at News Geelong, have a pleasant evening, a safe weekend, and a very good night.